Brad Lovett came to the Aviation Institute with a degree in philosophy and political science. He will enter the workforce as an aircraft maintenance engineer.
I know my parents personally, when they found out what I was doing and what I was planning on, they were blown away by the amount of prospect for work. Because one of the first things they said to me was, oh, well, if you're going to get into aviation, you're going to have to go to Ontario to do anything or amount to anything. And I was like, well, that's not entirely true.
Chris Taylor spent a short term at Dalhousie, then did a stint in the oil and gas fields of Alberta.
My mom sent me an article that was in a magazine about the course, and I read that and signed up.
Natalie Duchesne graduated NSCC as a pastry chef, then decided she would rather have a career in avionics.
At first, I'd like to stay here and get experience, because this industry is all about experience. The more you can get your hands dirty and learn about the different parts of the airplanes, whether it's the landing gear or the avionics or the engines, hydraulics, the more knowledge you can acquire, the better off you'll be, whether you stay in Atlantic Canada or if you travel up north.
Aviation Institute grads will require 26 months' experience for full accreditation. IMP Aerospace is in a position to give them all the experience they need.
There's not a lot, in fact there's no other company doing what we do in this part of the country east of Montreal. And so we're very much on our own, and while we were able to recruit people from elsewhere, it's become really apparent that we do really well if we can recruit and train people locally here. They tend to be very loyal geographically, and so it works out well for everyone. It works out well for the company and the employees.
IMP Aerospace is ramping up for the ASLEP program, or the Aircraft Service Life Extension program, basically putting new wings on old Auroras. This program will add hundreds of new workers every year to the existing 1,000-strong workforce at the airport.
We are a Lockheed Martin authorized and internationally recognized P3 service center. What that means, and there's only 3 such centers in the world, and of the 3, we are the only one that's currently equipped to be able to do this work. So that puts us very much in a strong position to market ourselves internationally, and that's exactly what we're in the process of doing now.
A steady stream of apprentices is essential to IMP's growth strategy. The company believes in hiring locally. So, NSCC's Aviation Institute listens to the region's largest aerospace employer when designing programs. An example is the new Structures program, which started in April 2009.
They hire our maintenance students, which are a 2-year diploma, but they also needed a defined discipline in actual structural repair for a lot of the older aircraft that were coming in for overhaul, wing replacements, wing spar replacements, etc. So they initially approached us with a request that we put forth a standalone aircraft maintenance engineer structures program, and we've addressed that industry need with 31 students in class now.
IMP Aerospace has grown steadily over the long haul, particularly in the past decade. It is moving into the international arena with contracts with the U.S. Navy, Norway, Egypt. This employer has reason to be optimistic.
So particularly with this rewing program, it is now the centerpiece as we go forward, but we've had more of a presence in the international community as a consequence of this, and so we look for other opportunities as well. Also, the Department of National Defence in Canada, they still by far are our principal customer. They too are putting new wings on their aircraft, but they've got many other active projects on the go too. Again, as the focus is very much on aircraft maintenance and keeping good aircraft flying for a long period of time. It just makes, in many cases, a good economic sense as well as meeting the needs of the militaries.
Brad Lovett plans to apprentice at IMP, then get into a specialty like big transport helicopters.
With that, I can have a basis out of Halifax and live here and yet work contract-wise anywhere in the world. And that's a pretty good thing, because my whole life I've always wanted to travel and see the world, yet at the same time remain a maritimer.
Brad will be graduating with a lot of confidence in his future.
I'm graduating in June, and I'm guaranteed a job. And it's not a job that, oh, well, you'll have it for 6 months and then we'll see what happens. It's you've got work guaranteed for 20 years.
In Dartmouth, I'm Barb Anderson for Eastlink Magazine.